Carbon footprint is the amount of greenhouse gases emitted as a result of an individual's actions. The idea of carbon footprint was created by a fossil fuel company called BP as a marketing ploy back in 2005. At the time BP started this campaign, they were producing 2 million barrels of oil per day and they had just opened their 13,000th gas station. BP was also responsible for dumping 200 million gallons of oils into the Gulf of Mexico in 2010. This campaign succeeded in shifting the focus away from the systematic changes that actually contribute the most to greenhouse gas emissions onto people in the general public like you and I. If they could reframe fossil fuel use as an individual's problem, it took the attention off them so they could continue burning fossil fuels. This is important because only 6% of all greenhouse gas emissions come from livestock, with most of these emissions coming from cows and beef. 73% come from energy usage, so electricity, heat, and transport. This is especially important when answering the question, does being vegan actually help climate change? Well, only 6% of emissions come from livestock, so yeah, going vegan is going to help lower emissions, but it's nowhere near enough to actually help solve the crisis completely. Of course, many people in the West are becoming increasingly unfit and they need to cut out excessive amounts of red meat from their diet anyway, so it's a step in the right direction. And the conditions livestock are held in today are simply horrible. But this can't take our focus away from the systematic changes that we need to implement in order to solve the climate crisis. 71% of all carbon emissions come from 100 fossil fuel companies, and some companies have a larger carbon footprint than some countries. And carbon dioxide emissions have continued to rise unabated for the past 40 years. Fossil fuel companies need to stop being subsidized. These subsidies need to go into cleaner forms of energy, and more investments need to be put into green innovation. So going vegan does help the environment, however, I do believe it has a bigger social impact than an environmental one, as it can help those around you, like family and friends, become more conscious on the impact humans are having on the environment and inspire them to move into action, which can have a bigger impact on the future actions they take.